The drag racing Christmas tree for Unreal Engine 5 is the key component you need for a realistic drag racing experience. I love simulation games, which is why I've worked hard to keep this as close to real life as I could. If you've arrived here because you've just picked it up from the Fab Store, thank you very much. Or if you've just come across it and are interested and want to learn a bit more, that's great too. Welcome. Let's settle in and take a walk through setting up your first drag race in your own Unreal project. Okay, let's start with a couch co-op style multiplayer project for this example. I used a third-person project when developing and testing this, so it should work pretty well. What I did here in the center is I removed all the architecture that it came with and the two curved bits at both ends here. And you can see that I have 2 player starts in here and set up the basic couch co-op multiplayer system. I'll put a link in the description for the tutorial I used for that. I've also imported the assets for the drag racing Christmas tree into the project here. Other than that, this is pretty vanilla. So you're free to use a single player project if you like. It doesn't have to be co-op. You can race on this by yourself. Multiplayer is always way more fun because drag racing, right? And of course, you can't forget, a car project. Okay, now we're going to place down each of our 3 types of blueprints that we need. I'm going to open our folder. In the blueprints folder, we've got our starting line, our finish line, and our drag racing tree. We're going to put the finish line down first. Okay, and you're going to see here that it's oriented the wrong direction in this particular project. So I'm just going to turn it. Okay, and line it up with the center. And I'm going to grab the starting line next, drop that in there, and orient it that way. Now you'll see the arrow key, the arrows right here. Oops. The arrows right here. This indicates the direction of the race. Okay, this is really more important for the starting line than the finish line, but I put them on both because they're lined out on the edges and lined up on the edges, and we have the pre-staging and staging sensors, so they need to be in a particular order. So that's why the direction matters for the starting line. Now let's line that up with the center, and we can maybe drag it back. Run our race. Now I run this with quarter-mile runs in cars, but we'll just, for this example, we're going to put it just a nice short little race here. Okay. Okay, and now let's place the drag racing tree, Christmas tree here. Line that up. Okay, now it's oriented wrong as well, so we'll fix that. Aim it towards the driver. Now I considered putting an arrow on this one as well, but since it needs to be pointed towards the driver, I figured that would just get really confusing. So we've got it here. Go by the direction of the lights. The initial lights that are always on any tree are the front ones here. Okay, so we've got our tree, our drag racing Christmas tree, our finish line, and our starting line laid down. Now we'll configure our Christmas tree. Get a closer look at this. Okay, so there's a number of different things we can do to configure this tree. Right down here we have all of our settings. So if you want to run just one lane, you can turn on either the right lane or the left lane, or both. If you want to run side by side in co-op or in multiplayer, you can turn them both on. Now we want to arm the tree. Now what the arming does is it turns the tree, sets the tree ready for a race. Just like at a real drag strip, You can, when they're getting ready, they go back and forth across the sensors quite a few times. And we don't want the sensors mistaking that for a start or a false start. So when the race is ready, the tree gets armed. You can turn that on by default, in which case it's on, and you can turn it back off through the same attribute here. But when it's on, it means that when you start driving across the starting line, it treats it as pre-staging and staging. So we'll leave that alone for right now. Now comes the visual configurations. If you take a look at pictures of lots of different drag strips, they all have different configurations for their Christmas tree. So if you see this one, and you're used to seeing this one with the amber bulbs hanging down on the pre-staged and staged visors here, that's what everybody remembers, and these are kind of old school now. There's a second type that's more in the modern style, and this has a circle, a blue circle with a white line through it, upper and lower light at different times to show pre-staging and staging. It's just a little more high tech, but you can set this up to work with either way, whichever you happen to prefer. After that, we can consider, do we want backlights? This is all the configuration you need to run a race. If you look at some tracks, you'll see that they have back-facing lights as well. Okay? And some tracks even go as far as having side-facing lights. Okay? We've got our side-facing lights here. We can turn them all on or off. Just leave the side facing on, or the back facing, or the front, whichever you like. I actually like them all, so I'm going to turn them on. Now, in some tracks, you'll even see that they have blinds behind them. So we've got a set of blinds we can swap in. Okay, there's a triple blind, which only covers the countdown lights, or a quadruple blind, which covers the countdown lights and the launch light or the go light. Okay, so it's your choice. You want lights on the side, blinds, triple blinds, or quadruple blinds. I'll stick with quadruple blinds. Okay, now up top we have an arming light. You'll see that in some configurations as well. They're not necessary, but it does provide a bit of nice visual feedback. I like it. So we'll turn that on, and that'll tell us when the tree is armed. Okay. Now here we have 3 different types of countdowns. Okay, for the countdown we have standard sportsman style countdown, where each of the lights, the amber lights, count down in turn from the top to the bottom. First one, second one, third one, and then the launch or go light, with a 500 millisecond delay between each. Okay. You'll also see Professional 500. Professional 500 has all 3 countdown lights come on at the exact same time, and then after 500 milliseconds, or half a second, the green launch light comes on. That's basically a one-step countdown. And those are both the standard sportsman and the professional are 500 millisecond delay. The actual standard now for professional countdowns is 0.4 seconds or 400 milliseconds. So right here we have the 1, 2, 3 countdown lights all come on at the exact same time, followed by the green launch light 400 milliseconds later, or 0.4 seconds later. So it's a little short, and you kind of need to get used to how quickly that comes. Next we have the cowling on the lights, and you can, for the front-facing lights, you can turn on cowling for each of them, show a visor. So the countdown lights have a visor, and this focuses the light so that one driver can see it and the other driver can't. So they can each see their own set of lights. There's also cowling optionally available for the launch light or go light, and even the red light or fault light. I like to use this configuration. Cowling is only available on the front lights because those are the only ones that really need to be specific about where they're aimed. Okay, you won't usually see cowling on the back or side lights at a drag strip. Now, just for a quick, just so we can see this a little bit better, what we're going to do is take a look at the lights. We have different light types. Originally, we have these big, old incandescent lights, but there's also more modern styles too. So we can choose incandescent. So I will, for the next one, this is for the Go light. The LED lights are available now, and you'll see them in more modern drag strips. And you'll see an LED, a more dense array at some of the drag strips as well. So these are the three options, and any of the lights can be configured to look this particular way. Okay. And so I usually pick this, and then I'm going to turn back on my cowling. And now, ideally, these lights should point at the driver. So depending on where you place your drag racing tree, you may have to adjust them. So we can adjust our lights with this control right here. We've got a fair amount of freedom to adjust them. And the rear ones can be adjusted as well for the stands or wherever is necessary. Okay. But the last thing we just want to enable right now is the HUD. This is a heads-up display that'll show the stats for the race. Now we're ready to connect a few controls. We have a couple of custom events for arming and resetting the tree. Right here, we can reset the countdown and rearm the tree so that it's ready to run the countdown again. This is just so you can run multiple races. It wouldn't be the end of the world if you didn't set these up. You'd only be able to run one race and then have to restart the game. So it's just makes it a little easier, makes it a little more fun. And you can hook this up to your own game logic or map it to controller buttons. Right now I'm just going to hook it up to a couple of the keyboard keys. The R key for reset, let's say, and right beside it the T key to arm it. So we'll go into our level blueprint and we will find our reset R key. There we are, and our T key. Okay, bring these over here, and we'll select our tree here in the, okay, it's set, select and create that. Now we will need the tree arming and the reset countdown. Just put those there, put that one there, that one there. Compile, save, go back here. That's ready. Now we'll be able to reset the key, reset and arm. And the last thing to do is let the starting line and finish line know who our racers are. So we'll give our drivers, in this case our our mannequins here, a tag, an actor tag, and we'll call them Drag Racer. So we'll open up here, go find them. There we are. And in here, look for the tag, add a new tag. Call it Drag Racer, capital D, capital R, no space. There we go. Compile and save. Let's come back here, and I think we're ready to race. I've got two Xbox controllers plugged into the system here, and since I can't run them both, I've got another racer to help me do this demo.
Hello.
Okay, let's get started. Okay, it looks like I'm the top half of the screen.
And I'm the bottom.
Okay. Now we'll notice that the tree is not armed yet. You don't see the blue light. So if you remember back, we assigned the key binding for arming the tree to the T key next to the R key. So we press the T key and we can see the blue light turn on, telling us that the tree is armed. So what that means is that it's ready to run the countdown when both sides are staged. When you're running two people, or when you're running just one person, when the side that's active is staged. Okay, staged just means you're past the sensors, from the pre-staging sensors into the staging sensor. Okay, so let's get up to the line. Okay, I'm pre-staged right now, which means I can back off and there's no problem. But once I get staged, okay, once we're both staged, there's no backing out. Okay, we're both staged. The countdown is starting.
Huh. Yay.
And let's come back around and do another one. Now, what you'll notice here is that we can just run around and the lights aren't changing. And the reason the lights aren't changing is because the tree has been triggered and run. Okay? So what we need to do is we need to reset the tree. And that was why we have the reset. So what that does is it gets all rid of the HUD display that we have here. Now we can see our winner here. Up at the very top, we've got the elapsed time for each of the racers. We've got the top speed of each of the racers for both in miles per hour and kilometers per hour, and then the reaction time from when the green light hits go until you leave the starting line. So on the red side is the winner in this race. Now let's try another race. We're going to reset the tree and we're ready to go again. And the tree is still armed. See the blue light. So let's get back up there again. Okay, and we're pre-staged. Staged. And go.
Oh, you won that one.
Yeah. And that is how the drag racing Christmas tree works. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. If you have any suggestions for improvements to the drag racing Christmas tree, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And please like and subscribe to hear about future updates.